everyone, and welcome to our online experience. No matter what platform you are joining us on or listening from, it's such an honor that you've decided to spend the next hour or so with us today. Here at Central, our vision is to help you connect with God and with one another. Everything that we do revolves around those two things. One easy way to partner with us to help others get connected is by taking a moment to share this experience on whatever platform you are joining us on. Perhaps you can write a review or even leave a rating if you're a podcast listener, as it goes a long way in spreading the word about this amazing community of faith. Also, if you'd like to worship through your giving and partner with us in this vision of helping others get connected, you can do that by heading over to our website at centralcc.ca/give. You can follow the prompts, schedule a one-time gift, or set up regular ongoing giving. Thank you for believing in this vision and for being faithful in this way. Now, today I want to take a moment to let you know of a few ways you can get connected here at Central. We are heading into our final week of our 21 days of prayer. If you have not joined us, there is still time. We are back tomorrow and invite you to join us from 6 to 7 a.m. Monday to Friday and 9 to 10 a.m. on Saturday as we continue in prayer and personal connection with God. We know for some of you, making it out of the house for 6 a.m. is sometimes difficult with small kids or early work schedules. So we've made it easy for everyone who would like to join us by offering both an in-person and online option. More details on how to join us are available at our website at centralcc.ca/21days. Next up is Encounter. Encounter is a 1-hour worship and prayer experience happening next Sunday, January 30th at 6 p.m. This month's Encounter will be closing out our 21 days of prayer. It will be a beautiful night with friends and family. We will have a time for personal prayer and reflection, and prayer as a church for the freedom we have been talking about all this month. Maybe you know someone that is hurting. We want to pray for them. Whatever you need prayer for, this is the night to come. Join us for what we know will be an incredible night of prayer, healing, and worship together. Now, there is kids programming for ages 5 and under, and one thing you need to make note of is that you do not need to pre-register. Just come as you are. So why don't you join us next week? Our chosen method for connection with others is groups, and we have 4 kinds of groups here at Central: community groups, small groups, interest groups, and support groups. If you need help finding a group that fits your needs, simply head over to our website, centralcc.ca/groups, and search the many groups available to find the best group that fits you. We also have a number of groups that are gearing up to start the end of January, and so throughout this month, we want to encourage you to check out the many opportunities available to get connected through groups. Everything you need to know and how to register can be found at centralcc.ca/groups. One group we do want to highlight is Alpha. If you are new to faith or would like a safe place to ask questions about who Jesus is and why he is worth following, you can join us on February 6th at 10:30 a.m. right here at Central for this 8-week group. Alpha is a group that over 24 million people have gone through around the world, and we'd love for you to join us. So if you'd like more information on that group, head over to centralcc.ca/groups. Again, if you have any questions or would like to pre-register your family to join us in person on Sundays, head over to our website or text the word CENTRAL to 905-937-5610. So that's all from me. We are excited you have joined us today. Our experience is about to begin, and it all starts right now.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us online. We're going to sing a couple songs, so please join in worship with us.
There is no shadow that has ever overcome your life. There is no rival that could ever stand against your might. You've always been with us. Every battle you've already won, already won. There is no weapon that has ever left a mark on you. There is no army with the power to conquer truth. You've always been with us. Every breakthrough. Anything is possible. Show me one thing that's too hard. Show me waters He can't part. He's the God of the breakthrough, and anything is possible. It is possible. There is a kingdom that's advancing at the speed of light, and in His kingdom every dead thing is bound to rise. God a Redeemer, oh He is faithful to revive, oh He will revive. I sing out your name, a victory dance. I will dance out in faith. I will crush disappointments and break every chain. And all of my fear I will turn into praise. Shake off despair as I sing out your name, a victory dance. I will dance out in faith. I will crush disappointment and break every chain. And all of my fear I will turn into praise. Shake off despair as I sing out your name, a victory dance. I will dance out in faith. I will crush disappointment. Show me one thing He can't do. Show me a mountain He can't move. He's the God of the breakthrough, and anything is possible. Show me one thing that's too hard. Show me waters He can't part. He's the God of the breakthrough, and anything is possible.
How all of my fear I will turn into peace. I'll shake off despair as I sing out your name. A victory dance I will dance out in faith. I will crush disappointment. Yes. Now all, yes.
We'll turn into praise.
Oh, we praise
Shake
you.
off despair
Through
as
it
I
all,
sing
we
out your
praise you.
victory
Yes.
dance. I will dance out in
Oh, I will crush disappointment. Yes, God. No matter what we're going through, God, we believe in you right now. We choose it. We choose to believe in you that you're with us and that we belong to you. When I feel the fear come, I will run away, even in valleys. Your presence is enough. When I feel the shaking, oh, I will stand my ground. Oh, your presence is enough. You are with me, Father. You're for me. Fear will never conquer me, 'cause I belong to Jesus. stumble, I will not break. You'll be right there. You're in every step I take. Come on, when the rain fell, when the rain fell, when the winds blew, when the wind blew, I was okay. You were right there. You're in every step I take. When the night falls, when my heart aches, if I stumble, I will not break. You'll be right there. You're in every step I take. You're my shepherd, you're my keeper, my provider, my protector. You surround me. You're in every step I take. You're the goodness, you're the constant, you're my first love and my future. You surround me, you're in every step I take. You are with me, Father, you hold me, and fear will never conquer me, 'cause I belong to Jesus. I'm never alone. I'm never abandoned. Fear never conquer me, 'cause I belong to Jesus. You're my shepherd, you're my keeper, my provider, my protector. You surround me. You're in every step I take. You're the goodness, you're the constant, you're my first love, my whole future. You surround me, you're in every step I take. You are with me, Father, you hold me. Fear will never conquer me, 'cause I belong to Jesus. I'm never alone. I'm never abandoned. Fear never conquer me, 'cause I belong to Jesus. Fear never conquer me, 'cause I belong to Jesus. Fear never conquer me, 'cause I belong to Jesus. No, fear never conquer me, 'cause I belong to Jesus. Fear never conquer me, 'cause I belong to Jesus. I belong to you. I belong to you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God, that you are my protector. That no matter what comes my way, and sometimes it can feel so difficult and so dark. I know some of you might be feeling that. You might be in that dark space, maybe that rut. Maybe you have an anxious mind, a racing heart. But you need to know today, I need to know today, that I belong, you belong, we belong to Jesus. And that's something we can stand firm on, a solid ground. In Matthew 7, Jesus says, if you hear my words and put them into practice, then you will stand firm. And like that bridge said, the rains can come, the floods can come, the storms, but it doesn't matter. You'll be standing firm. So God, I just pray for everyone watching right now that they would know without a shadow of a doubt that whatever they're going through, that you are with them right now and that you belong to them. You call us your children. We are your very own. And so no, we're not alone, even though it feels like we are sometimes. No, you are with us. Help us know right now. Calm our hearts and our minds. Bring light to every darkness. Be who we need you to be. Amen.
At the present time in our life group, there are 13 of us. It's young seniors. I think the youngest is maybe 50.
It's been really encouraging to just meet other moms because sometimes there might be something going on in my life, maybe with my daughter, something that I'm not sure about or, want encouragement for. And the moms are always just there to give me guidance or just share like a similar experience.
I think it's important to be part of a life group. One thing that we have at our group that we just love when we share things, and we share from our hearts. We share the good things and we share the bad things. We share the hard times that we're going through, because knowing that we've got people that are going to be listening and praying.
June of 2017, actually, my wife was very sick. And she had a neurological disorder. But I remember specifically one night at the end of our life group, Lori prayed. She was praying for others. And it was so encouraging. And it was actually the next day that she was free from pain and had been healed. Now this had been going on for about 5 years, and just to have the love and support of everybody around us was great.
One thing I've always noticed is that the leaders of small groups are always very intentional about making new people feel welcome.
Belonging to a really big church like this, you don't really get to know everybody. So this is a great way to make some good friends that can encourage each other.
There's just something powerful that happens when we can do that and care for others and let them care for us. It's quite rewarding.
It actually makes me feel more a part of the church because I actually know people and get to share with them and share our lives together. So it makes me feel even more a part of Central.
I know for Lori and I, it's helped our marriage immensely, just being part of a couples group and just being able to share in the lives with others. It's been so rewarding for us.
But it's also been nice to just have time to actually study the Bible together, because it can be a bit difficult to find time during the week to really study my Bible now that I've become a mom. And so since it's so busy, really having that set time a week to go there, and it's very intentional. And we have Tammy just already prepared to ask us good questions, and it allows me to have that time to just kind of reset for the week and focus on God and what He wants to teach me, which has been really nice.
And just being part of a group that could pray for us and connect with us and be there for us was amazing.
I'd say find one quick. You'll never regret it. You'll make friends that you'll have for a lifetime. You'll grow in your own journey, and you'll be a part of something that's just amazing.
One thing I also really love doing is joining groups that are with people that are actually outside of my stage of life as well. Just joining like the card making and Christmas groups that we had this past few weeks where I get to spend time with people both younger and older than me, I think is really important as well, just to make sure that we're just all learning from each other and getting to see what God has in store for each of us.
Who or what do you trust? Or maybe I should rephrase that. Who or what can you trust? Like, we are living in a world right now where trust is being eroded. And so, if you Google search what Canadians are losing their trust in, you'll find a whole list of things. I mean, obviously there's the government, there's big corporations, there's the media, there's even science. I mean, people are even questioning that word. What does it even mean anymore? And then, of course, faith. We see a decline in all of these things that were foundational to us being eroded, and we don't know what to trust. So maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you should believe what the culture says. Just believe whatever you want. But that can't be true either, because what you believe does matter, right? Because what you believe informs your actions. Those actions carry consequences, and those consequences have outcomes. Some of them you don't want. So what you believe really does matter. And that's what this series in the book of Exodus is really all about. I mean, yes, apart from the story, there's a deeper analogy and metaphor and imagery here that what you believe, if you believe the right things, it leads to freedom. If you believe the wrong things, it leads to slavery and suffering and worse, death. So think of it this way. Life is kind of like a maze, and we're all trying to navigate through it, right? And there's all these doors, all these options, all these possibilities. And you are trying to open these doors, and you're trying to figure out which doors to open. And we know, because experience tells us, sometimes you open a door, it's a dead end. Sometimes you open a door and it takes you the wrong way. Sometimes you take a door and it's incredibly painful, and you think to yourself, why did I do that? Why did I make a choice? And it's because you have a worldview that informs you which doors to open and which doors not to open. And depending on your worldview depends really on the outcomes of your life. And so we've been learning in this series that freedom is the ability to do what is best. Not just open whatever door you want or whatever door you feel like, what door is the best. And this is going to require wisdom or a good worldview to know what that is and the courage. Because some of these doors are hard to walk through in order to do that no matter what the cost. And so in week 1, we learned that freedom comes really when you're willing to face the truth. That was Moses in the burning bush. Last week, we learned that freedom comes when you're willing to harness your fear. When you feel like you're caught between a rock and a hard place and you see only 2 options, maybe God has a third. And today we want to learn that it really matters what you believe, and we need to learn to trust God fully. So in Exodus chapter 20, verse 3, we're given the 10 commandments. And so this is kind of like the pinnacle of the story. And the very first commandment is, you shall have no other gods before me. What God is saying is, in all the worldviews, you got to pick mine. That's what leads to freedom. Jesus reiterated this in Luke 10:27, when he said, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. That's supposed to be our core value. And so why would God say that? Why would God say, you can't have any other gods? Is it because he's insecure? Like he's threatened by some of these other gods? Well, that's ludicrous. Or is it because he's some like mongering warlord? Or is it because he's power hungry? Look, I don't read the story that way. You may, but when I read the story, I don't see a cruel God trying to force his will on people. I see a God who is fighting for freedom. And it's interesting because I have never heard the word cruel used of the Allies liberating Europe. And so I think God is bringing liberty and freedom. And that's worth fighting for, because what you believe really does matter. So in Exodus chapter 3:18, let's go back to the story. Moses now has gone to the burning bush and he has to confront Pharaoh. And God says to him, then you and the elders are to go to the king of Egypt and say to him, the Lord, the king of the Hebrews. So just so you know, Hebrews and Israelites, they're interchangeable. They're the same people. Has met with us. Let us take a 3-day journey into the wilderness to offer sacrifices to the Lord our God. But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go. Why? Because it doesn't fit in his worldview. His worldview is you must be his slave. He is a superior race. You are subhuman. His worldview is no, I can't let you go unless a mighty hand compels him. So I will stretch out my hand and strike the Egyptians with all the wonders that I will perform among them. After that, he will let you go. Okay, and you say, okay, well, maybe I can understand the story of the Old Testament. In its context, it's a battle between the gods, but we don't have that battle anymore. We don't have gods and idols and temples, and I would respectfully disagree. We've just changed the names. We've just added the suffix ism to our idols, our worldviews, our gods. So we've got liberalism, socialism, capitalism, theism, atheism, materialism, nihilism, monotheism, postmodernism, meism, selfieism. We've got all of these worldviews that are competing, and it is violent. Look what's happening in the world right now with these competing worldviews. So your idol, your God, I suppose, in this terminology, in this context, is any worldview that you have chosen to live by that determines your actions. And you're like, well, okay, how do I know what that is? That's a great question. I had to ask myself. Well, here's how I know. It's whatever, not what you say you believe, but what actually you act out. It's how you spend your time and your talent and your treasure. It's what gets your priority. It's what you get value from or meaning from. Your worldview isn't what you say, it's what you actually do. And remember, like we said earlier, what you believe matters because it dictates your actions, which carry consequences, which carry outcomes. So a worldview is really critical, and God needs to break the Egyptian worldview even out of his own people. They've been in Egypt so long, they can no longer distinguish between the truth and everything they hear around them. They've actually been sucked in to a false worldview. And the Egyptian worldview keeps them as slaves, and God has to show a powerful demonstration. A crisis has to happen for that to be exposed. Just a quick side note. I just wonder if right now, this crisis is exposing what we actually really believe. Like when something is taken away from you, that's when you really believe or you're exposed that you trusted that maybe more than you should have. And so that's what the plagues are all about. The plagues aren't just random, arbitrary cursings on the world. They are actually an attack on different worldviews that the Egyptians held, and as a result, the Israelites held. And so you can look up on the internet all of the plagues and which gods they were attacking. It's a fascinating study. I don't have time to talk about it, but you can do that on your own. But I want to just talk about the first and the last. So the first plague is against the Nile. Now, in the Egyptian worldview, all they saw was wherever water was, you lived. I mean, if you look at a satellite picture of Egypt, you can see there's a desert all the way around and then one green strip where the Nile River runs. So they could see it. It made sense to them. Well, that must be God. We need the Nile. We depend on the Nile. Without that water, we die. So first of all, when Moses comes and says, we need to take a 3-day journey into the wilderness, Pharaoh's like, you're insane. This is what we see. This is what we trust. But when God turns it into blood, that thing they trusted is taken away. Then what? Well, you can no longer trust it. So where do you go from there? That is the point of the plagues. That sometimes we put our hope and trust in things that cannot meet our needs, cannot be there when we need them the most. I think that's true of money, governments, our spouse, our job, our health, right? What if those things were taken away? Does it mean you lose value? Does it mean you no longer matter? Of course not. That's what God is fighting in all of us. So even the magicians see it. Even the magicians in chapter 8, verse 19 say to Pharaoh, hey, this is the finger of God. But it says, Even though they saw it, Pharaoh didn't. It says his heart was hard and he would not listen, just as God had said. So here's a really hard question I had to ask myself this week. Is there a worldview that I refuse to let go of because I'm so stubborn that it's actually hurting me and hurting those around me? Is there an ism in my life, something I've put my trust in, that honestly, if I'm willing to be honest, is actually hurting me and those around me? It's limiting freedom. And so Pharaoh doesn't listen, and so as a result, 10 plagues come into play. And then the final plague is the harshest, I suppose, in our concept and the way we think about it. God says, I'm going to strike down the firstborn of all of Egypt. And I had to think about this one because it's like the first 9 were kind of against direct gods of Egypt, but the last one didn't seem to be so until I realized, no, wait a minute. Pharaoh actually thought he was God. He literally thought he was God. And you say, well, that's his problem. No, it's our problem. We think we know best. We think we're able to open doors with our wisdom, with our understanding. We're strong enough, smart enough. And what happens when that is taken away? And that's exactly what's going to happen, because to the god, Pharaoh, in his mind, his legacy depended on a couple of things, according to Egyptian mythology. First, his body had to be preserved. That's why they mummified the pharaohs, because as soon as your body disintegrated, in Egyptian understanding, you ceased to exist. But beyond that, it was your name. And so when you had a son, he literally became the son of God, and his name was your name, and it carried on. And as long as your name lasted, you also existed. And so that's why they built the huge pyramids. They built these pyramids so that their name would never be forgotten. They would exist forever. What they were looking for was eternal life. And they thought it was in their power and in their name. And so that's the last thing that's going to be taken away. And so how did the nation of Israel be preserved through this? Well, God gives them a way out. And this is really cool. So I want you to dig into this just with me for a minute. So the Israelites had lived in Egypt so long that they actually believed this too. And archaeology is finding this. They would build, of course, they were poor, they were slaves, and they would build their houses out of mud and stick, but the door frame was always, if they could, whatever it took, was made out of stone, imperishable items, and they would carve their name onto the door frame. This is really important. It was a portal into what they thought would give them everlasting life, or what would matter. They believed that. So God says, I'm going to show you that it's not in your name, but in what I can do for you. So we call it the Passover. You can read again in the story, get all the details in Exodus. But basically, the father brought a lamb into the home, sacrificed that lamb, said to his kids and to his family, because of our mistakes, our failures, our faulty worldviews, this lamb must die. Then he took the blood and he put it over the mantle of the door, over the names that had been carved in to show that there was a better way than my way, a better way than the Egyptian worldview, a better way, a way that would actually lead them to freedom. And as a result, their firstborns were preserved and saved. So what God was saying, what is the point of it? Is that it's not our works, it's not our great ideas, it's not our technological breakthroughs, it's not our medical advancements, it's not our complicated government systems that will save us, it's not our money, it's not our power, it's not our wisdom, but it is the one who created us, the one who made the maze, that can show us the way out, the way to meaning and purpose. He's the one who can help you become who you were supposed to become and dictate what becomes of you. And Jesus would come onto the scene thousands of years later, and he would reinforce this image. As a matter of fact, he would be the expression and the fulfillment of this image. Jesus would make the claim that he was the way, the truth, and the life. His way was the best way, the only way to really live. It was in his way that you would know which doors to go through and which doors to say no to. And it was in his sacrifice, his death, and in his resurrection, the greatest miracle of God, that even in death, Jesus cannot be held down. It's beyond the rules. It leads us into purpose. And this is why Jesus said in John 10:9, I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture, but the thief, any other worldview, comes only to steal and kill and destroy. And I see that in so many people around me. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. You need to know today that God is fighting for your freedom. And then in John 14:6, Jesus answered, And Jesus answered, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life, I am the door. I will cover your name. I will cover every false idea that you have and show you a better way. No one comes to the Father except through me. Okay, so I know I just said something that in our culture sounds incredibly exclusive. It sounds incredibly confrontational, sounds like conflict, and I did so intentionally because some of our worldviews need to be broken today. So how do you know it's true? That's a good question. How do I know I can trust Jesus even though he said it? Well, I want to put to you that for me, I've learned to trust the things that really over time are proven truly to be true, things that work, really work. I have a lot of ideas. I'm getting older now. I have a lot of ideas that I laugh at that I had when I was 20 years old. I thought I could do this. I had that all figured out, and it just wasn't true. So time has an amazing way of proving what is true. Crisis has an amazing way of proving what is true. What you put your value in when someone says something proves to you what is really true. And so Jesus, to me, is true, and I'll tell you why. It's actually very simple. Because I've spent a lifetime studying different ideas and thoughts and interacting with all kinds of worldviews. Some of them have been a confrontation. Some have been incredibly pleasant and eye-opening and actually humbling experiences for me to discover that I actually believe with every fiber in me that Jesus is the best person who ever lived. That it is his teachings that actually will liberate humanity. It is in what he did in his death and resurrection that actually gives me freedom. I stack him up against any other religious leader, any great political warlord. I would stack him up against any other human being, and I guarantee it would be impossible to find someone better than Jesus. And so I've just trusted my life to him. I let him navigate this life with me. When he tells me open a door, I open it no matter how difficult it seems. And when he says, Bill, you need to close that door, I trust him. Because when I don't do that, I end up in places I don't want to be. And you just need to know that God is fighting for your freedom. Jesus came into this world and he sacrificed his life like that lamb, and his blood was shed so that your name could be covered. All the things you think matter and are important and your value and your worth could be covered by the truth that he loves you. He's fighting for you. That's freedom. And I know I'm not talking always about the way his children or his followers act. I'm talking about Jesus himself. And so in order to discover this truth, it's going to require some humility, an open mind, a soft heart, the ability to say, maybe I am wrong. I still have to say that I am wrong still about a lot of things. But Jesus, you lead me, you guide me out of slavery and into freedom. And so today, if you feel like you're stuck or you're limited or you're enslaved, maybe it's because you're trusting the wrong thing. I want to give you the opportunity today to make the choice, to choose the doors that Jesus opens. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and I believe him. I believe him. So in the end of the story in chapter 12, verse 12, it says, on that same night, God would pass through Egypt and strike down every firstborn of both people and animals, and I will bring judgment on all the gods of Egypt. Here's the deal. If you have a faulty worldview, at some time it will be exposed, and it has to die, because it will destroy you. But I am the Lord. The blood will be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. And here's the powerful part. No destructive plague will touch you when I strike Egypt. So today, do you find yourself in a place you don't want to be? Maybe you don't know who or what to trust anymore. And I don't blame you. It's hard. But I want to invite you to trust the one who made you, the one who died for you, and the one who wants you to experience freedom. His way is honestly the best way. It has been proven by millions of people throughout history, and I believe it's still true today. I know you have to find it for yourself. I know you have to dig in, but don't settle for the worldviews of this world that will cripple and destroy you. Instead, find your freedom in Jesus and in the blood of the Lamb. And with that, I bless you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today. And we'd love to challenge you to consider, what is your next step? Maybe today you realize you'd like to take a next step in following in the ways of Jesus. We realize that everyone is at a different spot in their journey of faith. And as a church, our mission is really simply just to help you get connected to God and each other. So if you made a decision to begin following in the ways of Jesus, or would like more information on what that looks like, Simply text the word Central to 905-937-5610, or head over to our Connect page at centralcc.ca/connect for your next step. Or maybe you'd like to get connected in a group and explore your faith with others. The best way to do that is by heading over to our groups page at centralcc.ca/groups and find a group that best fits you. If you are joining us at the 10:30 experience, why not click the link in the chat area now and join us for Encore, an after-service conversation. This is a great opportunity to ask questions, talk about the discussion questions coming up, or just talk about today's message with some of our leaders. If you have any questions on how to get connected, simply head over to our website, centralcc.ca, or text the word Central to 905-937-5610, and you will find everything you need there on how to get connected. Well, that's all from me. Hope you have an amazing week, and we hope to see you back here next week.